Well, every day fire departments work to determine the fire danger and if a fire were to start, how quickly it would spread. 90's reporter Courtney Yoon joins us live at Bluffs Regional Park Trail in Lone Tree. Courtney, all that rain that we've got has made vegetation grow, which of course just causes more fuel for these fires.
Yeah, that's right, Jordan. With all the hot temperatures we've been having, it's drying out all that overgrown vegetation. But there are some counties that are trying some new initiatives this year to try and combat fire danger in the metro. And all of these programs really focus on that overgrown vegetation. For example, in Boulder, a new community tax will help increase livestock grazing and forest thinning to decrease the fire risk. And then in Douglas County, a new program will pay 75% of the cost for people to create defensible space around their homes and reduce overgrown fuels. That one is such a popular program that they aren't accepting new applications anymore. Public Information Officer Eric Hurst with South Metro Fire Rescue says when grasses get too long and grow too much, it's hard for crews to fight fires if they start.
If we have fuel length or flame length in that fuel above 4 feet, it becomes unsafe and ineffective for firefighters to do direct fire attack. So the taller the flames, the more firefighters are going to have to stay back for their safety.
It was great to get all that rainfall in the springtime to help our plants look all lush and to grow a lot, but Hurst is saying without that consistent rainfall, that's when it becomes an issue, and then these plants and grasses start to dry out and can catch fire really easily. They just want to tell people to be careful. Anything that starts a spark can start a wildfire. Corey, Jordan.
And we've seen just that happen in years past. All right, Courtney, thank you.
One of the boys accused of starting a deadly fire at an apartment building last year is pleading guilty. The teen, now 15 years old, and his younger brother are accused of setting the fire at the Tiffany Square apartments in Lakewood last Halloween. Prosecutors say the boys were staying at the complex but started the fire after someone kicked them out. Kathleen Payton and her 10-year-old daughter Jazzy died in the fire. 10 others were hurt. 14 apartments burned down. Both boys faced more than 100 charges each. Yesterday, the older boy pleaded guilty to 2 murder charges plus attempted murder and arson. The younger brother's case is still going on. Doctors are evaluating him to see if he's competent to stand trial.
New overnight, Northglenn City Council voted to formally reprimand 2 of their own members for walking out of a proclamation for Pride Month. It all started in June when Council member Tim Long said he didn't want to spend money on what he called special interest groups and said that he couldn't be hateful because he has a black goddaughter and gay friends. Last night, he and Nicholas Walker defended themselves, saying they won't be silenced or bullied. Several members of the city's own diversity board called their comments hurtful and offensive and urged council to vote to censure them.
The message that we sent is that you are welcome here. You are safe here. We're making these gentlemen accountable for their actions, accountable for their words, and we stand beside you.
I would like to say that I won't be bullied, intimidated, and whether it's from a virtue signaling email from the city staff or a hateful and vulgar message I received from a sitting dice board member.
Long said, quote, "I believe I was bullied by First Amendment non-believers who judged me to have hate filling my silence." Mayor says it isn't about beliefs, but behavior. The final vote was 7-0 in favor of the censure.
Aurora City Council is considering a plan to use unpaid officers to fill gaps in police department staffing. Councilwoman Danielle Jurinsky introduced the idea. APD has a serious staffing problem, so they're hoping to fill open positions with unpaid armed peace officers. They're hoping to bring in paramedics, firefighters, and retirees.
The idea has started because we want to actually take some of our firefighter medics and have them in with our SWAT team as tactical medics.
They'd have to go through all the training paid police officers go through so they can be armed. There are currently 230 reserve officers throughout Colorado. Although some council members were worried about the accountability of the reserve officers, they unanimously voted to move the plan forward last night. They'll have a final vote at a later city council meeting.
A new Colorado law banning a controversial procedure known as an abortion reversal might face an obstacle from medical professionals. Democratic lawmakers passed the ban on abortion reversals this year as part of a bill cracking down on faith-based crisis pregnancy centers. But the doctors get the final say because lawmakers left a loophole in the bill, allowing the state's medical and nursing board to override the ban if they declare abortion reversals a generally accepted practice. The practice involves giving patients hormones to counteract a medicine-induced abortion. It's not not yet approved. The Colorado Medical Board released a draft rule last week that stops short of banning the procedure. The draft says regulators will investigate individual complaints about the procedure.
Colorado's only oil refinery keeps getting in trouble for spewing chemicals into the air, and now neighbors in Commerce City are losing one critical tool for tracking what's in the air that they're breathing. For the last year and a half, the community group Cultivando has worked with researchers to monitor air quality around the Suncor refinery. Suncor paid for the project under a settlement with the state after breaking pollution rules. Cultivando said their monitors showed the refinery was a source of radioactivity and short spikes in cancer-causing chemicals. The nonprofit got an extra $500,000 from the EPA to keep up that monitoring, but researchers who work with the group say they're pulling out of the grant and taking their monitors offline. The EPA told us they wouldn't waive federal requirements to make sure Cultivando's readings are accurate. The nonprofit says they're going to focus on other advocacy work instead.
A kidnapping story in Alabama that made national headlines for days has officially been coined as a hoax. Authorities say Carly Russell originally told investigators she was taken after she stopped to check on a toddler walking on the side of an interstate. She returned home 2 days later, claiming she had been abducted and forced into a vehicle. Russell's attorney provided a statement to police saying Russell admitted there was no baby on the road or a kidnapping and that she acted alone. Russell could now face charges.
Civil rights attorney Benjamin Crump has filed a lawsuit on behalf of a former football player against Northwestern University in connection to a hazing scandal. In the lawsuit, players allege former coach Pat Fitzgerald allowed physical, emotional, and sexual abuse within the program instead of reporting it. Crump says he hopes the legal action will inspire students and coaches at other schools to take a stand against hazing.
On what would have been Emmett Till's 82nd birthday, President Biden will sign a proclamation honoring Till and his mother. It will establish the Emmett Till and Mamie Till Mobley National Monument across 3 locations in Illinois and Mississippi. The monuments will tell the story of the events surrounding Till's murder and their significance in the civil rights movement and American history.
One thing you want to know about the weather today is we're going to see temperatures back in the 90s to low 100s. Chance of an afternoon shower or thunderstorm tomorrow. More of the same, only a few degrees cooler.
Ed, thank you. Right now we're tracking some I-25 delays. This is at Frontage Road at this hour. Northbound lanes headed away from us, moving slowly. As you can see, headed toward us, we've got some southbound volume as well. Quickly taking it to the problem spot here. The I-25 crash impacting both sides. The left lane is blocked between Meade and Berthoud right now. So you can see where we're dealing with that change in color on the map is where we're dealing with those delays.
Erica, thank you. Happening today, a new program is being launched to educate Colorado drivers and make the roads safer for cyclists and pedestrians. Bicycle Colorado is run by a group of cyclists. The new online program is their own driver's ed course, hoping to fill in gaps left by traditional driver's education. The class is an hour and a half long, and it's for all levels of drivers, cyclists, and motorcyclists.
Current driver education requirements don't really have anything involving vulnerable road users, meaning people outside of a car, like people biking or walking. And so shift driving provides a really good supplement to driver education courses and for anyone else, including like professionals and entities who want their employees to take this course.
According to the Colorado Department of Transportation, in 2022, 745 people were killed in roadway deaths in Colorado, the most the state has seen since 1981. You can learn more at bicyclecolorado.org.